Hey there guys, Charging Star Ryan here once again to bring you another deck profile. This time we're going to be covering Machina Sword. Machina Sword. Let me tell you something about this deck. I hate this deck because it sucks. It is one of the most, if not the most inconsistent deck I have ever played. And it might be the worst Machina version of any other deck there's out there. The amount of times that I never win with this. I mean, it's so funny. Sometimes I just play it for the memes. You know, it's like, oh, I wonder who I could beat. So I decided to bring it up. Now, why do I have this deck? The reason I have this deck is because I pretty much pulled everything. I actually I had Grayson here, the Rocket Blader. I pulled him about 5 or 6 times, maybe more. 5 or 6 times is what I can remember. So pretty much he's one of the key cards. I usually don't go over it because I feel like everybody knows the cards. But a lot of people might not know some of the cards in this deck, so I'll go over it. I won't go over the generic Machina and Natura cards that everybody knows. So we have Cyber Cannoneer here. He's a 2/2 for 2, but his main skill is gonna be the enhanced by 4. It assembles 2 droids. So with this deck, pretty much you want to be playing a bunch of droids, getting them destroyed, and getting this big guy here to cause 0 or as least as possible. What he does when he comes in is you play him, and the other Machina follower that comes into play, they have rush. So that's really good. Probably the best play that you can make. So that's what this guy does, and he is a Machina, of course. Gizmo you might have seen in other deck profiles, but pretty much the reason we use it, we never really get the +2 and rush, but we do get the draw card. So if you have 3 Machina cards in your hand or more, you draw a card. So that's one of the other ones. A card that I learned to hate really well because it might seem like it's great, but it actually really sucks, is Mecha Blade Soldier. So pretty much when he attacks, he deals 1 damage to all followers, and if you have another Machina, he deals 2 instead. I had him at 3. I hated him at 3. I've been wanting to cut him to 1, but I'm not really sure what to play in there. Then we have the Stampede Fortress. Stampede Fortress is that's what you want to have in your 4th turn. Like, that's the key card you want to have on your 4th turn. So what he does is you evolve him and you summon 3 assembly droids, so you have more droids to be destroyed for abilities like your Johan and your Technolord. The Grayson, we covered that earlier. So what this actually has 2 effects, right? So the first effect is has rush, so that's always good, but when you play the card, it's gonna give a leader effect where anytime you attack with a Machina follower, it's gonna do 1 damage to the enemy leader. So that's decent. I mean, it sounds amazing. It's not really that great. And then his other skill is whenever this card is added to your hand, you reveal it. The game will reveal it for you. And then any Machina card that you play that turn gets a +1 and has rush. So I know it sounds amazing, not that great. And one of the other great things behind, besides Johan, I should say, about the deck is Regal Wildcat. So we all know this from a lot of different builds for Swordcraft, and with this one, it's a little better to get there, just because so many of our droids are destroyed. So with that being said, let's go see how many times this deck loses in the typical 5 matches. All right, guys. So let's just jump right into the matches and see how it went. And this deck, what can I say about this deck that hasn't already been said? or that I didn't already say, right? So next up, we're going against Swordcraft. I really doubt it's gonna be a mirror match, so that's why I actually played it through, because I was 120% sure that it was not going to be another Machina Sword. So here we go. We go up first, and we're going against the Levine. So Aggro Sword, pretty much. I decided to play the Gizmo. You know, we're gonna get that itself replacing, you know, itself. So here, I don't want him to establish a board at all. So I go with the Confectioner so I could get that +1 and trade with his follower. So, and then when he plays this, of course, you know how much your soul hurts every time you see that. Now, usually I wouldn't do this play with the Cyber Cannoneer, because I'm going to take, you know, 3 damage. But since I got the Grayson on the draw, yeah, I think I'd rather establish a board like that and don't mind those 3 damage. Unfortunately for me, he had a good combo in his hand, which is going to be a free Evo for his Levine. And he is pretty much not going to clear the field, but he's going to get there. In this situation, I want to establish my leader effect, so I am going to save my Evo point, clear his board, and still get my effect. So now every time Machina attacks, he is hit by 1 damage. Here, the fact that I have the Natura El Machinas in my hand, I wasn't that worried. Usually I get worried when I see one of the samurais there. But in this situation, I'm just trying to get a lot of my droids killed. We played the Patrick Rhino. That's amazing because it's another +1. You know, who would have thought that +1 cards are amazing, right? So anyway, he plays the typical, you know, Gabriel combo. I consider it a gimmick, but it is what it is. So in this situation, like I said, I wasn't worried. I know I have more than enough cards to clear his samurai, even though it is at 6. He should have known too. So I'm kind of surprised he went with the play, but at the same time, I understand why he went with the play. So I decided to play my El Machinas to get rid of his samurai. Luckily, I am able to. The reason I played one of my sheriffs is so I could get that boost from the Grayson, and you know, with this I get a surge and the boost. So you know, we're going pretty good. We're trading pretty good. I have a full field with 6 cards in hand. He has 6 cards in hand also, but doesn't have a big field. So he decides to play Big Booty Chizuru, which is usually a really big pain to get rid of, especially at this point in the game. But probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite card in the Machina Sword, is Autoblade, because she just destroys pretty much for free, sort of. You know, and she's a +2/+2 when she hits the board. If you have a certain number of Machina followers in hand, which with this deck you're always gonna have them. He plays Princess Knight, evolves it. He's gonna try to clear as much as my board as possible, and of course he has a Picorine. They always have it, like somehow, some way, miraculously always have it. But I'm not that worried. Even though he has, you know, big bodies on the field, I have more than enough to take care of it. So I decide to just trade in here and get rid of his big follower, and on top of that, do some damage because of our leader effect. So now we play the Fortress, which is gonna give us 3 more followers, and because it was our 9th turn, it gets that boost. Now he draws 2 cards. He plays the Levine Sisters, but honestly, I think knowing that deck, it's running on low fuel. Now might seem like it, but in reality, I mean, if I play Technolord at this point, considering the amount of followers he's destroyed, we know I could easily clear the field, so it's not a big deal. So here I actually start doing this here to destroy my own followers, so I could get the winning combo that this deck usually does, and it's my favorite combo, which is the Patrick plus the Regal. So it's about 12 damage usually. So our opponent concedes, knows that there's nothing that they can do about it, and we get the win against Levine. So let's go on to the next replay, which the next replay is going to be against Aggro Blood, if I'm not mistaken. That's who the deck that I played against. It was a really interesting match. Now I don't play Aggro Blood. I play Machina Blood or Natura Blood. I actually like Natura Blood better. Obviously you can cheese out some pretty good wins with Aggro Blood, but I don't think it's as good as Machina or Natura Blood. But that's, like I said, just my opinion. So here I don't have much to do, but I'll take my +1 with Patrick. I mean, you gotta love that guy. I never noticed how amazing that card is till I actually started playing it, and it's funny enough that I started playing it in this deck, right? So we get our +1 there. Sorry about that, guys. My my phone started ringing. So anyway, here I know that that I could clear the field, so I'm not worried. His followers are just +1s or 1/1s. I'm sorry about that. So he's, what I'm thinking, just, you know, trying to get into his key pieces, just drawing some cards. And when he played the Lucius, I was like, what is he doing? Like, is he really going in that hard? I don't mind it, just because I don't have to worry about that later on. So here, because I have so many cards in my hands, and I even fuse cards into my Machinas already, usually I don't like playing 2 Cherubs, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna clear his board and establish more dominance. I have more cards in my hand, I have the same amount of evil points, and I have more followers. He decides to go with this little lady here, EO, but I'm surprised he did it, because he wasn't gonna clear my board, but it's whatever. So here I'm just trying to not only get rid of his board, but at the same time destroy more of my followers, because we know that my followers need to be destroyed so the deck could get its best you know, its best combos off. So one of my favorite cards, if not my favorite card in the game, Naraya, we all know what it does. I'm not gonna go over it. Now I think he made a huge mistake there by not attacking the fortress, because he wouldn't have died from the fortress, and now he left a 2 or a 4/2 there. 4 damage is a lot, especially in this situation. So now I'm able to destroy his field for not really much of a cost, to be honest, because we saw how much the Johan was costing. So I feel like he made a huge mistake when he did that. So once again, with his particular build, he's obviously gonna almost always have the Naraya, but it's fine. I mean, we have so many fuses on with our El Machinas that it doesn't matter. I play the Johan first, obviously, because I want that rush effect, so I could, you know, get rid of Naraya. Here we actually hit 2 of the Graysons, so I wish I would have gotten another follower for 0. It would have been so amazing, but you know what, I'm not gonna complain about hitting 2 Graysons. So he decides to play Princess Knight. He can't, considering the deck, I did not think that he could clear my board. Here I think he made another huge mistake. He went face instead of going after the Johan, which it's like, why are you gonna leave a follower that does 5, you know? So here I took advantage of the fact that he left that follower, and I played my tiger with another follower, and we went in for the win. And it was a lot easier than I expected, to be honest, but he made 2 big crucial mistakes. So I think at the end maybe it was a lot easier than I expected because of the mistakes that he made. so not so much because of the way that I played. So next up is Machina Haven. So, or Machina Natura Haven, I mean, whatever you want to call it. We know it's a combination of both, and it's a deck that I covered. You know, please go check out that video. Also, I covered that deck. Pretty good matches. So anyway, here, oh my god, one of the worst things when you draw that Grayson at turn 1, and obviously you don't have any 1 followers, so yeah, it is what it is. It happens. So here we go with our Gizmo, one of our classic plays. So she replaces herself by drawing a card. Once again, I want to destroy as many as my followers and make sure that this person does not establish a board, so I decide to trade instead of going face. Usually I'm more of a person that likes to go face in that type of situation. So here I don't want to overdraw because of what's of the play that I'm about to do, which is getting, you know, the 2 cards here. And I just want to be careful. I was thinking of playing the Patrick, but I like always having 1 Patrick at least towards the end of the matches. You guys saw the Rhino and Tiger combo, so I always want to have that. I wouldn't say it's my win condition, but definitely probably the best combo in the deck. So here, I mean, it's pretty much I feel once again that I'm so far ahead because I'm destroying so many of my followers. I have so many. I've already fused cards. I have a lot of followers on board, even if they're 1/1s. The deck is just playing. The deck is doing things that it's never done when I play outside of recording. So once again, I won't complain about it, and I'll actually be happy about it. So anyway, here he decides to go for one of his win conditions, which is the Elena's Prayer. Next up, we play the Grayson, so that way we can have our leader effect of every time we attack, and we're able to clear the board without having to, you know, use one of our evil points, and that's always a good thing. Having an evil point, I don't think it ever hurt anyone, correct? Anyway, so obviously he was gonna have his El Machinas at turn 6 because of the salvations that he gets from his leader effect. So he establishes a pretty good board, to be honest. One that usually would take a lot to get rid of, but considering the amount of cards that I fused, and the fact that I got a Grayson, which was an amazing, I'm not gonna say it's a top deck because I don't think I needed it. There was other ways to clear it, but it was definitely one of the best things that I could have gotten. So I go for the damage there. I get a couple of followers that cost 0, and guess what? I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna clear this board with I'm gonna destroy a bunch of my followers like I want to do all the time. I'm gonna clear his board, and I'm gonna make sure that that I'm still ahead. He has more cards in his hands, but what are those cards? We know what those cards are. They're salvations. So I am ahead by quite a bit. So here I have a 7/6 and a 6/4 with still an evil point. I have great cards in my hand, and if you're looking down here, we do have our combo that we're waiting for the win. Usually the win. So he see here, I feel like he made a mistake. What I would have done is, I'm gonna pause really fast. So what I would have done is I would have evolved the Confectioner instead, and go into my Johan, so he gets rid of that threat on the board, and then I would have kept, you know, my word. Maybe in his head is like, oh, he can't do 15, you know, that's not possible. Obviously he's gonna be proven wrong, but I mean, to a certain extent it didn't matter because I had an extra Johan in hand, so I could have rushed through the ward. But in any other situation, I feel like what he did was a mistake. So Anyway, so here we have the Rhino Tiger combo. That's what I'm gonna call it. And I mean, we still end up using the Johan, and we established even a bigger board now, and we were able to win because of the leader effect that we have to deal 1 damage when we attack. So yeah, I mean, the deck has never performed the way it has in like those 3 matches. And now we go up to the 4th match. Now this time around, we are going against a Control Forest deck. So this match, I wouldn't say I have an advantage, but I kind of like it just due to the fact that Control Forest takes a while, you know, to get going. And for me, I want my followers to get destroyed as much as possible. So in the late game, when that's my finishing move, my finishing combo, in the late game, I already don't have to worry about how many of my followers are destroyed. So all the followers I need to have destroyed are destroyed, and I could do a couple different things, you know. So that's why I kind of like the matchup, even though, you know, I don't think there's anybody that necessarily actually likes playing against Control Forest. So I love using the deck. I hate playing against it. It's one of those things. So here evolves. You know, he doesn't want to take that much damage for next turn, which is understandable. So he decides to clear the board. Now in my turn, I do that just because I'm gonna get more followers either way. So here I make a really dumb mistake that I don't attack face for whatever reason. I think I was so into the game that I forgot that there was cards that I could play. So that would be definitely my bad. So here he plays a Fae. He's trying to get those extra draws, which are really good. And he had to play the May first, so his hand wasn't probably that great. So that made me feel even more confident on top of everything that was already going on. Here, I just want to put a big body on the board, at least one. So that's why I decide to play the Mecha Blade. And even though it's not a threat, you know, let's do it at least for the memes. Let's clear the board with his skill. So a 6/6, and considering the cards he was playing, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy for him to, you know, get rid of it. So I was fairly confident of putting it out there. He goes for the Roach. You know, he already has a pretty good what is it, like 3 or 4 bounces I think with that. So I'm still fairly confident, and here we go. I get the Grayson again on my Machina's turn. I get the Grayson. Like I said before, this never happens. Everything was just kind of like falling into place, and then we get 2 Grayson with their Machina's one, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play followers because I'm gonna get an extra 2 attack with all of them. So why not? And then we have our Mecha Blade still out there doing some damage, doing 6, doing 1 with my droid that's left, and he heals for 4. We know they're gonna heal. Like you need to hit this deck for like 30 or over sometimes. We've all been there, and it is frustrating, but it's part of the game. So here I was kind of surprised, but at the same time I felt super happy when he did that, because it kind of solidified the fact that he was not gonna get to his win condition. Because if you play Control Forest, you know like when you're gonna win or not for the most part. Now here, the reason I do this, a lot of people are thinking like, why would you just throw everything out there? It's because I knew, and I didn't know. I was facing the worst case scenario. Was he has a what do you call this follower? I always forget I'm forgetting his name right now just because I'm playing against it right now. But yeah, Gaia, there we go. So I knew that the worst case scenario, he was gonna have a Gaia, and that's exactly why I put 5 of the strongest followers that I had in hand because even though he had the Gaia, next turn I had my Fortress, who was gonna involve for free and break through any barrier. Here I decide to not go face and just clear his board, because if he somehow, some way with 3 cards gets another Awakened Gaia, guess what? I'm still gonna have something on the board, and there's still big bodies like Patrick coming. I could do another Machina if I really wanted to. I wasn't really looking for that, so there was nothing to really fear, to be honest. Plus, you guys have to remember our leader effect, where he takes 1 damage every turn, and you know that he was going to do absolutely everything he had to clear that 9 that was left on the board. So here, I mean, it was pretty much game. I feel like I did a good thing by putting so many bodies on the floor when I played 5 of the big ones, of the big followers. So poof, we blow the dragon by 1, and he forfeits. It was going to be exactly 8 damage. I could have done 9, but it didn't matter. So Machina Sword actually put it in work. I never thought in my entire life I was actually ever going to say that. Like, after I'm finished recording, you guys will probably never see this again. It was the funniest thing. And yeah, my opponents made a mistake here and there, but you know what? It's part of the game, right? Like we talk about, you gotta learn from your mistakes. So here, I wasn't too comfortable with my hand, and I was worried about the deck that I was playing against, because it was a Haven Ward. And the reason I was worried about this match was because his leader skill is that every time I attack one of his followers with ward, I take 2 damage. My leader skill is every time that I attack, he takes 1 damage. So it was gonna be a painful situation, and I'm like, I need to get to my pieces fast. I need to do this fast. Here, I don't want that 3/2 to hit me. I don't want anything to hit me in this match. I'll do anything to clear the board and make sure that I don't, you know, take any damage, because I know what's coming. So here he decides to, you know, go for the draw. Didn't really heal anything. I'm trying to establish the fact that I want him to clear my board, destroy all my followers, so I could get to my Johan faster, because I'm gonna need it in this match. I need to play. I know what I need to play before he plays his, you know, the follower with his leader effect. So here I draw a Grayson, which was great, to be honest. I didn't need it, but it saved me the fact of playing an evolution point, right? I still played it, but for a different reason. I played it to clear the board and have all my followers on the board so I could get some face damage. So that extra Grayson was great, and his Wilbur comes down, and to me this is where the match starts for me, because I'm thinking, how much is he gonna ward up and how much do I have to get over? So I decide to play the Grayson again. I still want to save that evil point because I need to put some damage on the board. That's where when he starts doing damage, and this is where I feel more confident, because my board is still out there and I'm doing so much face damage. I decided to play the Patrick since I still had an evil point left, and I still had 1 Patrick in hand. But at this time I was more worried about getting pluses from Patrick than actually playing Patrick, because I knew the match was gonna be decided in, like, you know, 2 or 3 turns, where I wasn't gonna be able to use Patrick the way that I wanted to use him. So here there were so many ways of me to win that it isn't even funny. But I was so nervous of making a mistake. I'm like, all I have to do is attack 5 times and I win. That's all I have to do. And there was something in me that was saying, like, don't mess up. Don't mess up. Have you guys ever been in that situation? Because that was the situation here for me. So I cleared that 9-5. clear his legendary there, and then I attack. Every time I attack, remember he's taking 1 damage, and Confectioner was gonna go in for the win, but he quits. And wow, I won a match where I wasn't feeling too confident, to be honest. And let's actually go check out the deck profile once again for this Machina Sword deck here. And I mean, I don't think that's ever gonna happen again. So we did our first 2-5. It goes undefeated. I wish the deck always played like that. I wish it always moved like that. I wish so many things, but wishes are wishes, you know. And it's just a dream that I don't think I'll ever do that again. So, and one thing before I go, guys, I think this card is absolutely amazing. I didn't say it at the beginning, and I didn't play it much, but whenever you could play a follower for 3, that's 4/4. Technically, it's gonna be a 4/4 because you're always gonna have your Machina followers, right? And on top of everything, that destroys an enemy follower. I mean, I think, honestly, I think this is the best card of the deck. No lies. Everything else kind of puts everything together, but I do think Auto Blade is the best deck. Actually, one of the few reasons I played this deck is solely for Auto Blade and how good she is. So that aside, I want to thank you guys for taking some time to come and check out this video. And yeah, I mean, please, if you like this, give me a comment, a like, a subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I want to be able to bring more of this to you guys. Also, I'm thinking of maybe doing streams. If even one person is interested in seeing streams, let me know if Twitch would be better or the YouTube gaming would be better. And anything else that you guys have any questions, just put it down there, guys. Put it down there, and I'll be more than happy to interact with you. So once again, my name is Charging Star Ryan. Thank you for your time, and I'm signing out.